The Blues host the team one place above them, which is Barcelona. It is, of course, a famous fixture with so many of their previous meetings etched into Champions League history. Oh, it was like a modern Champions League classic, wasn't it, this game between Chelsea and Barcelona? Yes, we're still on, we're live. Well, talk to me, because there have been some brilliant moments. We just all got lost in that video, didn't we? Have you got any favourites,
I'm not allowed
Jamie?
to talk about them,
so many, to be fair.
That's because you were miserable in the production meeting.
He was
you said you
miserable in
didn't
the
have any
production
favourite
meeting. He
moments.
didn't remember too many highlights from Barcelona-Chelsea, and then we just showed and spoke about how many there were.
Basically,
and he got
what was your favourite game? And I liked the Real Madrids, the Liverpools, the Man Cities and all that.
Yeah, but they're not playing tonight. So, Barcelona-Chelsea, I would say my big memory would be Ronaldinho's goal. I just remember watching this game. Listen, Ronaldinho was the best player in the world at this moment. It was a fantastic atmosphere, but it was one of those goals where everyone almost stands still. You think nobody knows what had happened. Even the Chelsea players couldn't believe he'd scored. The whole stadium went silent to beat a goalkeeper of Petr Cech's ability with a goal like that. And I think, as Thierry mentioned a few weeks ago on this show, you were talking about sort of players who get you off your seat, excite you. Maybe that's lacking in the game right now. He was the number one player at the time, like that.
You must have played in some of these games. There's one that stands out for you.
Yes, I did, and I didn't play the return leg. I played the first leg at the Camp Nou, and I was on the bench.
So this is what, 2009?
That's my favorite moment, obviously, in the game, because Iniesta made us go to the final, and Andres never used to score a lot of goals, but I was on the bench, and all I was thinking is, we're not going to go to the Champions League final. I knew it was kind of my last chance to go and win it. And so,
He's thinking, bonus!
We all went to celebrate with Andres. And also, Andres, when that ball came to Andres, I was like, don't shoot. And then, obviously in my head, because you don't see me saying it, but, I was, what a moment. But there were so many moments in that fixture that I witnessed as a fan watching it. But to be able to be part of that, although I wasn't on the field because I didn't play the return leg, it was outstanding.
That was the same game as the Drogba incident. It's a disgrace one, was it?
Yeah, that was, I saw Didier the other day, and it was kind of funny because he made a joke about it. But then people don't remember the penalty on me at the Camp Nou. They don't remember Eto'o about to go 1v1. The keeper called offside when he was a meter on, and Ballack should have got sent off twice at the Camp Nou. But people don't remember that from the first leg.
Went both ways, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
Sounds like you're over it.
I am. We went through. That's the year we won the treble.
Touche!
Sorry.
Titi, why you gonna do me like that?
We showed you them earlier on over at Stamford Bridge. Should we take you out to Guillaume and Peter? Guillaume, it feels like forever since we've seen you. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. There were all the people going on tour, so I had to stay home.
Say it with your chest.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
We've seen some classics here. We've just shown that. And, when I look at this pitch, Guillaume, that pitch looks so great. Absolutely fantastic. The only thing is, it's really, really cold here. I don't think the players care, because they were out before. They're all young players. They're like little kids. And you think that Barcelona brings this young team to Stamford Bridge. And in reality, which is a staggering thing really for me to think about, they are on average 2 years older per player than Chelsea, who, by the way, have fielded the youngest player ever in the Champions League since it was called the Champions League, 23 years and 92 days. You spoke to the manager, Enzo Maresca, yesterday, I know that. And you asked him about that. What did he say?
Well, I'm thinking of how does it work at Chelsea, a winning club, when you are the manager and you get asked actually to win with a young side, with a very, very young side. So I had to ask him about that. And let's hear. You got to a situation now in which you lead in a historic club, a winning club. You've been given a very young squad. How do you deal with that?
The big achievement is that you have a young squad and you need to achieve result. That it's not easy, but I think we are getting better. Last year we achieved something important like the Club World Cup, the conference. Especially we are playing Champions League because of last year. I think this club Chelsea belongs to Champions League. it's excited. Young players, they want to learn, open mind, they want to improve, and this is a good thing.
I mean, it's incredible that he has this job and he's got to manage that. But I can see what he's saying. It must be really, really good. I mean, I said that on average they are 2 years older per player at Barcelona. It is because one of them is because Lewandowski plays today instead of Rashford. Rashford's not playing, but there's a player in every team, both teams today, Estevao and Lamine Yamal, young players who's already winners. Who's going to excite this crowd today?
We're talking about two 12-year-olds, 3 months, separated by 3 months. Estevao is the eldest one. Estevao still trying to make an impact, obviously in the Premier League, with the national side. Lamine Yamal already a superstar of Spain and of Barcelona. But we're going to be very lucky because we're going to sit behind the camera around here and we're going to have the opportunity for 45 minutes to see both Estevao and Lamine, who are left-footed but will attack on the right-hand side. They're both in the team. And as we're talking about young sides, both of them depend a lot on these 18-year-olds, unheard of really from Barcelona and Chelsea, that they depend so much on people that just come into the scene.
Kate, I know you have a nice time and it's warm and beautiful in the studio and you're having a laugh and all that, but we are going to be here and actually experiencing that. So we're quite looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm sure you'll have a great time. Very happy for you guys. Nice to see you. We'll see you in a bit.
Peter, are you missing Jamie?
No.
I'm the one with the Scouse accent.
You did. Hey, I have to say, your performance last time was brilliant. Behaved. You listened to what the UEFA people were saying. Some of your interviews were a little bit too long, but at the same time very good. So well done.
Well, Peter, if somebody's telling me I talk too much, I'll take it on board coming from you.
Oh, come on. And by the way, Jamie, why did you stick that Manchester United thing in our chat today?
What was it?
You were. I mean, you cannot say anything about Manchester United playing bad when your team is playing the way they are. You should be a little bit more calm.
Lads, it's Man United. That was Miles' Instagram post. I was just putting it in the chat.
Yes, you did.
It was the wrong chat, Peter. Didn't know you were in it.
All right, guys. We'll see you in a bit. Good to see you. We haven't seen the teams yet. Can we take a look at formations? Maybe it might be interesting to see what we've got going on with this game between Chelsea and Barcelona.
Yes.
Who wants to jump in here?
I will go with Barca. It's interesting to see Eric Garcia there, and obviously we know Pedri is not there, but Torres instead of Rashford. That's I'm not saying that's a weird one, but Torres also will score goals.
Yeah,
so if you have the chance to put Torres or Rashford, but I know, Micah, you want to talk about
Chelsea. We're looking at them in more detail a little bit later. It's nice that they've gone without a striker. The Barcelona are probably going to have the majority of the ball, but what they have got is pace and legs to go in behind that high line, which Thierry are going to show a little bit later on.
I'm looking forward to the matchup between Yamal and Cucurella.
Tasty. Yep.
Spanish left back and Spanish right winger.
Not easy to beat. No.
Mikel Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal will need to unleash their complete player against Bayern Munich. The Gunners host the German champions at the Emirates Stadium on Wednesday, and one man in particular could be decisive. Ebereki Eze, described as a very complete player by teammate Mikel Merino, is emerging as one of Arsenal's most dangerous weapons ahead of their Champions League clash with Bayern. The 27-year-old announced himself in North London with a stunning hat-trick in his first derby since arriving in a £67.5 million move from Crystal Palace. His 3 brilliant goals dismantled Tottenham, and truthfully, he could have scored even more. Mourinho believes every one of Arsenal's 8 summer signings has lifted the squad's level, helping the team build a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League. But Wednesday's matchup is different. Bayern Munich, the reigning Bundesliga champions, represent the toughest test yet for Arteta's side. Speaking after the win over Spurs, Mourinho praised Eze's qualities and hinted at the impact he could have in such a high-stakes European battle. "We've brought in a lot of players who can make a difference. But you can see that other teams have spent big as well," the Spain international said. "Individual brilliance can win matches, sure, but in the end, it's the team that matters. If you have great players who don't connect, that's a problem. The good thing about this group is that everyone thinks about the team first." When asked about ease specifically, Marino didn't hesitate. I think he's incredibly complete. He can dribble, he can pass, and his technical quality is outstanding. In Spain, we always talk about players who can connect with others. He has that naturally. He grew up with that instinct to link play, move the ball, and build relationships on the pitch. He also has the mindset to get involved, demand the ball, and influence the game. At the same time, he's strong, he can take players on, and he can finish. He's a truly complete signing. Marino also touched on how the modern game often reduces players to simple numbers. These days everyone judges players by goals and assists. That's just how it is. But as footballers, we see the deeper qualities he brings. The technique, the movement, the intelligence. Even in training, you can tell immediately how special he is. Yes, he's scoring goals, but he's much more than that. He's an exceptional player, and we're incredibly lucky to have him. He can play in several positions and adapt to different systems. He's been a huge addition for Arsenal. Beyond the technical qualities, Marino believes Iza's attitude, and the healthy competition within the squad, will be crucial in Arsenal's title push. You can hear the calm in Eberechi's voice and see it in the way he carries himself. He's confident, grounded, and every morning we sit together in the sauna at the training ground and talk about everything, he added with a smile. He's a great guy, already fully integrated, and we need players like him. Competition is fierce. There's so much quality in this squad. That's exactly what the manager wanted, as many top players as possible, all ready to play. It makes his decisions tough, choosing who starts and who doesn't, but it also pushes every one of us to give our best in every session. And that's why we're improving as a team. As Arsenal prepare for Bayern's arrival, Arteta is facing one of the most delicate balancing acts of the season. The squad is healthy, competition is fierce, and expectations have never been higher. But behind the scenes, there is a growing sense that Iza's versatility and calm presence may be essential against a Bayern side known for controlling the tempo in big European nights. Arteta himself has hinted at Iza's importance without naming him directly. After the Tottenham victory, the manager spoke about the need for players who can break pressure, dictate rhythm, and stay composed when the game becomes chaotic. Those inside the club believe those comments were aimed at Iza as much as anyone. The coaching staff has been particularly impressed by how quickly he has adapted to Arsenal's positional play structure, a system that demands far more tactical discipline than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. Analysts at the club point to his growing influence not only in the final third, but also in build-up phases, where his ability to glide past pressure could help Arsenal bypass Bayern's aggressive midfield line. There is also an awareness that Bayern's fullbacks tend to push high, leaving spaces between the lines. Iza's skill set, sharp turns, deceptive acceleration, and precise final balls, could be exactly what Arteta needs to exploit those gaps. Outside the club, pundits have already started circling Wednesday's match as a defining moment for the £67.5 million signing. Some believe that if Iza can impose himself on a Champions League quarter-final against Bayern Munich, it will confirm his arrival among Europe's elite creative players. Former players have echoed that sentiment. Several ex-Arsenal figures, speaking on television over the weekend, highlighted the need for someone who can change the temperature of the match with a moment of calm or an unexpected burst of creativity. Iza, they argued, is one of the few in the squad capable of both. Meanwhile, Bayern Munich come into the match with their own confidence. Their midfield trio has been one of the most dominant in Europe this season, and they have shown a repeated ability to suffocate opponents early. That dynamic is precisely why Arteta may lean on Iza's composure. When the game tightens, Arsenal will need a player capable of slowing it down, protecting the ball, and finding solutions in tight spaces. Within Arsenal's dressing room, Marino's praise reflects a broader consensus. Senior players have reportedly been struck by Iza's humility and work ethic, qualities that have helped him integrate seamlessly into a squad that already had strong internal chemistry. Staff members describe him as someone who never forces the game, and lets the match come to him, characteristics that could prove invaluable in a high-tension Champions League tie. As kickoff approaches, the narrative surrounding the match has shifted. What began as a test of Arsenal's resilience has quietly become a spotlight on whether Iza can elevate them in Europe the same way he has in the Premier League. For Arteta, the equation is simple. If Arsenal are to overcome Bayern, they will need more than intensity. They will need control. They will need creativity. And increasingly, they will need the completeness Iza brings to every phase of the pitch. Whether he starts in a wide role as a floating midfielder, or even as an interior playmaker, the expectation is the same. Ease will have to find the spaces others cannot, and influence the game in ways that statistics alone will not capture. The stakes are high, the opponent is formidable, and the spotlight is intense. But within the walls of London Coney, the belief is growing that this is exactly the kind of stage Ebereki Ease was signed for. Martin Odegaard is nearing a return to action after suffering a medial collateral ligament injury in Arsenal's 2-0 win over West Ham earlier in October. Yet, 3.5 years after Mikel Arteta named him captain, the Norwegian finds himself in an unfamiliar position. His place in the starting lineup is no longer guaranteed. For the first time since joining the club permanently from Real Madrid in August 2021, there is real debate over whether he remains an automatic choice for Arteta's 11. Odegaard, now 26, has been central to Arsenal's resurgence under Arteta, the conductor who shaped the team's rhythm through some of their most fluid football. But this season, the Gunners have been forced to navigate long stretches without their captain, first due to a shoulder issue that kept him out of 4 matches in September, and then because of a knee collision with West Ham's Crescencio Somerville that sidelined him again. And during his absence, something significant happened. Ebereki Ease stepped into the spotlight. Ease's sensational hat-trick in the North London Derby has complicated the picture. Now thriving in a central role, the England international has given Arsenal a different kind of presence around the edge of the box. A blend of unpredictability, directness, and two-footed confidence that opponents struggle to contain. He may not control games with the same metronomic precision as Odegaard, but he offers a spark, a willingness to take risks at moments when Arsenal need a jolt of creativity. After such a standout performance against Tottenham, it feels almost impossible to imagine Arteta leaving Ease out. The manager has always had a soft spot for players riding a wave of confidence, and Ease is currently surfing at full height. There was a similar situation back in September, when Mikel Merino was handed a start against Manchester City after scoring 4 times in 2 games for Spain, including a hat-trick against Turkey. Arteta doesn't hesitate to reward form. Ease has carried that form onto the international stage as well, recently scoring a stunning goal for England in a 2-0 win over Serbia in the World Cup qualifiers at Wembley. Though he can play on the left, it has always been clear that Arteta brought him to the Emirates to operate in midfield. And with Declan Rice and Martin Zubamendi near untouchable in the double pivot, the odds of Ease and Odegaard consistently starting together seem slim. That leaves Odegaard in an unfamiliar position. He needs minutes to rebuild sharpness, yet Arsenal's medical team won't rush him. The plan is likely to ease him back through short substitute appearances before restoring him to larger roles. But even once fully fit, Odegaard faces genuine competition, because Ease has shifted the landscape. His arrival has raised the team's ceiling, and his performances have earned him the right to keep his place. Before the dismantling of Tottenham, Ease had scored only twice for Arsenal, one against Port Vale in the Carabao Cup and another versus his former club Crystal Palace, a clever finish that sealed victory. Now with 5 goals across all competitions, he sits just 1 behind Odegaard's total from last season, when the captain made 45 appearances. Odegaard's 2023-24 numbers were outstanding: 11 goals, 12 assists, influence written across every competition. That is the standard he must match again if he wants to reclaim his spot, because Ease is hungry, confident, and eager to impress ahead of next summer's World Cup. Arteta will insist that Arsenal need both players at their best if they are to meet their ambitions in the months ahead. And with Kai Havertz also working his way back to full fitness, potentially slotting into midfield behind marquee striker Victor Gyökeres, the battle for places has never been fiercer at the Emirates. For Odegaard, the message is clear: he must rise to the challenge. His leadership and quality remain unquestioned, but he can no longer rely on reputation alone. If he embraces the competition and fights his way back into the side, his return could push Arsenal to even greater heights. And if the team has already reached this level without several key figures, the potential for what comes next may be even greater. Inside the club, staff members are quietly acknowledging that Arsenal are entering a new phase, one where no player, not even the captain, is immune to tactical evolution. Arteta has spent the past 2 seasons building a squad capable of sustaining pressure across multiple competitions, and the emergence of Ease is a sign that the manager's long-term planning is beginning to bear fruit. Depth is no longer a luxury, it is a necessity. But with depth comes difficult decisions. Arteta has always valued balance in midfield, and the contrasting profiles of Odegaard and Ease force him to reconsider what type of midfield best suits the team's ambitions in Europe and the Premier League. The technical control and spatial awareness that Odegaard brings have defined Arsenal's identity under Arteta. Conversely, Ease's dynamism, physical presence, and unpredictable touches give Arsenal a new dimension, especially against teams that sit deep or defend aggressively in central areas. This internal shift has also caught the attention of analysts and former players. Several pundits have begun to question whether the captaincy should guarantee a place in the lineup, especially at a club with ambitions of challenging for the Champions League. Others argue that Odegaard's leadership is too valuable to sideline, pointing to the standards he sets in training and his influence over younger players. Those debates are already spilling into the media, and they will only intensify as the season progresses. There is also the tactical question of whether Arteta might eventually experiment with a system that accommodates both Ease and Odegaard, something he briefly attempted earlier in the season during the win over West Ham. But with Rice and Zubimendi forming an almost impenetrable midfield pairing, any reshuffle risks destabilizing the defensive structure that has made Arsenal one of the most resilient teams in the league. The manager has hinted that he is open to adjustments, but only if they enhance the team's overall cohesion. For Odegaard himself, the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. He has worked hard to cultivate an image of calm authority, a leader who raises the level of those around him through clarity and consistency. Now he must show that he can adapt, compete, and respond to adversity. His teammates still speak of him with admiration, describing him as one of the most studious and detail-oriented players at London Coney. They believe that once he regains full rhythm, he will naturally reassert his influence. Yet even they acknowledge that the landscape has shifted. One senior player privately remarked that, "The team is different now, Ease has changed what we can do in the final third." That sentiment reflects not a lack of faith in Odegaard, but an understanding that Arsenal have evolved while he has been sidelined. For Arteta, the ideal scenario is straightforward, a fully fit Odegaard competing with a fully confident Ease, creating a level of internal competition that lifts the entire squad. The manager often speaks about the need for healthy tension among his players, pressure that keeps standards high without fracturing unity. The arrival of Victor Gyökeres, combined with the recovery of Havertz, only amplifies that dynamic. Arsenal's season will almost certainly hinge on these midfield decisions. With Champions League knockout matches approaching and the Premier League title race tightening, Arteta must decide not only who starts, but what kind of identity he wants his team to carry into the defining months of the campaign. The next few weeks will reveal whether Odegaard's return sparks a resurgence or a battle for relevance. If he manages to reclaim his place, it could serve as a reminder of why Arteta trusted him with the armband in the first place. If he struggles, it will underline how rapidly Arsenal are progressing, and how little room there is for sentiment at the highest level. Either way, the captain's response will shape not just his future, but the trajectory of a team that believes it is on the brink of something significant.